Okay, just got a little video here. Now this is a double dug, organic, raised bed vegetable garden. And I've planted this here in a double dug bed because the people whose garden this is, they're away like half the month, so they need a garden which will not dry out quickly and the plants can really just flourish in. Now we've put this chicken wire fence around it because there's a lot of bunnies around here because they live right next to like the woods, so that should hopefully help to keep out some of the hungry critters. So just to quickly walk you through what we've got here, we've used a companionship planting method, which is one part science, one part experience, and but anyway, we've got basil here with tomatoes, and the reason we've done that, see, that's the basil plant there, and then obviously the tomatoes are in the cages. The reason we've done that is because basil will actually excrete something from the roots that helps to flavor your tomatoes. So if you plant them in amongst your tomato plants, you'll get some really, really flavorful tomatoes. Also on the outsides of the garden, can you see there, we've got marigolds. And we've done that because marigolds will deter harmful insects, little black flies and green flies, aphids and stuff, and will actually attract ladybugs and honeybees and all sorts of pollinating insects, so we like that. In this empty space here, we've actually got some beets that are going to come up close to the tomatoes. And then next to that, we've got carrots, which are sown with spring onions. Now, they actually don't like spring onions, but we've sown it with spring onions because it will deter the carrot fly, which lays its eggs and its larva makes all the tunnels in the carrots. So that's why we've got some spring onions there. You can also use chives, or probably leeks would work too because it's that sort of family. I've got just a row of lettuce here, and I've all the plants are sort of diagonally offset, which is why it doesn't look like a straight line. But so I got 3 different types of lettuce there. Again, there's little marigold. Now here I've got celery, and I've actually planted spinach seed around either side of the celery and in between the stalks, because celery doesn't mind being quite crowded, and the spinach will help it there. Next to that, we've got bush beans, which are nitrogen fixers, so they will help add nitrogen back to the soil for the spinach and also for the Swiss chard, which we've got here. Those are the little ones there. And see how they're diagonally offset. Next to that, we've got kale. Now, kale takes up quite a bit of space, but it's got a nutrient density of 1,000, and it's just a leafy veg, and it's evergreen. It actually tastes better once the frost has touched it, so that's there. And those are diagonally offset. You can see there's 3 in the row there, and then that's the next kale there, and the next one. So you can see the diagonals that are made there. You do that so you can plant the stuff nice and close together. Again, there's another marigold. A couple more here. Those are kale as well. So there's 3. It goes 3, 2, and then 3, just because they need to be about between 15 and 18 inches apart. Like 18 inches is probably what they would normally do, but because this bed is double dug, the roots of all the plants can go deeper rather than wider, and you can plant everything a little bit closer together. So that's what we've done on that one. You'll also notice that intermittently we've got different herbs around the garden because all herbs have positive effects in keeping away pests and stuff. So that there is coriander, and over there on that far, that's coriander there. We've got a marigold there. That's a coriander plant that just hasn't been planted yet. There's thyme, just there, and parsley, also among the tomatoes. There's a curled leaf parsley there, and another kind of parsley there. So this is an organic garden. And the reason why organic is important is because there's trace minerals and stuff in the soil that our bodies need to be healthy, and if you fertilize the soil, those plants won't bother to absorb nutrients the normal way from the soil. They'll just take it straight from the fertilizer capsules, and they won't absorb any trace minerals. So that's why we've got so many people who are like iron deficient and calcium deficient, magnesium deficient, and copper deficient. Like, it's crazy. So if you can grow it organically, and you use companionship planting, and you use like natural methods like the marigolds, different types of herbs and stuff, you can create an environment that pests won't really like. The plants will protect each other if you can try and figure out a nice way to plant them so they are next to a thing that they help. The only thing that needs to be said about doing an organic garden is you do need to compost, because after the first year, the soil nutrients, the nitrogen and potassium and stuff in the soil will be absorbed by the plants, and you really need to add on either a compost layer or a mulch layer or something. We should really have a mulch layer here. The only reason I've not done it is because we've got seedlings to come through still. And if you add a mulch layer before your seedlings are up, that decomposition process takes a lot of nitrogen from the top layer of the soil in order to start breaking that stuff down. And then what will happen is either they won't germinate, or they'll germinate and they'll be very malnourished. So you have to wait until, like these plants here, this is an okay size to mulch around. You need like at least, I would say, 5 leaves on something. So these ones are fine. You can mulch around these. But we've got beans and all sorts of other stuff that we've planted here, and that really needs to come up before we can mulch. So that's why the topsoil is bare. I mean, you could mulch around the areas that are finished, like the tomato side is finished and the kale side here is finished, but it's just easier to do it all at once. But you will need to add compost to it next year, just to add nutrients back in. And it's very, very simple to do. And I'm going to do a video in just a minute of making a compost pile. Thank you.